Hey, it's Vaughn here, and this video I wanted to make is all about how I got accepted into nursing school. Check it out. So, trying to get into nursing school can be a little bit challenging. Well, it can be a lot challenging. So definitely, it takes a little bit of research, it takes some time. So when I made this decision to pursue nursing and go to nursing school, I started doing research. So I would strongly urge everyone that is pre-nursing or thinking about becoming a nurse to start doing your research. Know about all the nursing schools in your local area, if you're willing to stay, if you want to stay, in your hometown, or if you're open to moving to another location. Those are all some different factors that you want to consider when you're looking at applying to nursing school and getting into nursing school. So for me, you guys, I'm not sure if you saw my first video, a little bit about my story. I am a mom, I have a family, so it wasn't really an option for me to kind of like move somewhere else. So I knew that I was very limited to the nursing programs that were offered here in my hometown. The good thing is that I live in a very big city, you guys. I do live in Miami, Florida, so I don't live in a small city. But if you do live in a small city and you are very limited to the amount of nursing programs that are offered, you may want to consider looking at some other options, maybe a hybrid program that maybe is online and also on campus, or looking at campuses maybe like an hour or 2 hours out from your home. But that's a separate video. I can go over all of the different options that you want to take a look at when you're considering nursing school. But as far as this video is concerned, I want to just kind of tell you a little bit about my journey. So I started researching different schools, and very quickly I discovered that this was no joke, you guys. Like, this is not an easy thing, it's not easy to get into nursing school, especially in a large city like where I live in Miami, Florida. So there are many different nursing schools here, fortunately. However, they vary as far as pricing, length, time, accreditation, which is very important. And again, I'm going to make another video about what you need to really look for when you're looking at going to nursing school. There's been some horror stories out there where people went to schools that weren't accredited, and they couldn't even sit for their NCLEX, but that's a whole nother topic. But again, so I started researching different schools that were in my area, schools that I actually met the requirements for, ideal schools. I had my top schools that I wanted to apply to, and then I had, the other schools that were great options as well, that were a little bit more feasible for me to get into. So for me in particular, I was looking for a school that allowed me to get a accelerated or a fast track BSN, a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree, and only because I already have a bachelor's degree in something else. I strongly urge you guys to kind of look at your particular situation, see where you are, if you're just coming out of high school, if you already have a prior degree, if you've been out of school for a while. There's different options for different levels of where you are in your life. But for me, I already had a bachelor's degree, I had already had a prior career in something else, and I also have a master's degree as well in business. So I didn't want to go back to school for a very long time to become a nurse, and I wanted to get a BSN because I know what I'm trying to do, and what I'm trying to do as far as where I'm trying to go in nursing, advance in nursing, I would need my BSN to do that. And I didn't want to have to get an ASN, an associate degree in nursing, and then come back and then do another degree in BSN. For me, having a prior bachelor's allowed me to look at accelerated programs, so that's what I did. There is a few accelerated programs in my area, but a lot of them had some really strict and high criteria as far as you can't fail like not even one class, or you can't repeat like a prereq or something like that, or you can't get like a C or something. And all of those things happened to me because I was faced with some different things happening in my life. So I wasn't like a straight A student. I'm a mom, I worked, so I didn't have as much time as maybe other people who were just going to school, and that's all that they had to focus on. So my grades were decent, they were okay, but they weren't like stellar. And some of these schools like really just didn't allow for not even one mistake, not even one prereq to be repeated, so I had to eliminate those schools automatically. And then my list shrunk a little bit, but I still had some different options. So I decided to apply to a couple of different schools. Now, I did get accepted to 2 schools prior to the school that I chose to go to, my third option school. And the reason why I didn't go to the first school is because it was, although I got accepted, I went ahead and took the TEAS test, and then I went ahead and took the HESI. So some schools require the HESI, some schools require the TEAS, some schools don't require any testing at all. So I took both tests, and I got accepted to my first school, which is great, not too far from my house. The only issue with this school is that, number one, it was not an accelerated program. So I would have to sit there for and go through the program for at least 3.5 years, which I was like, that's way too long for me. I already have a bachelor's degree. I'm not going to sit for 3.5 years to get a BSN when I know there's other programs out there that are accelerated. Another reason why I didn't go to that school is because it was extremely expensive, like astronomically expensive, you guys, like over. So if you're like me who have a prior degree in something else, I already have student loans for my bachelor's, I have student loans for my master's, and so the last thing that I wanted was to get another bachelor's degree for $100,000. So that wasn't happening. So I declined my acceptance into that school. The second school that I got accepted into wasn't really accredited, so I declined that option. And then also it was an associate degree program, and it would take me like 2 years to complete, and I felt that that was way too long for me to sit into a program for 2 years and only get an associate degree in nursing when I knew I needed a BSN. And I knew because I had a prior bachelor's that I can get into a faster program. So that leads me to the school that I actually got accepted into, and surprisingly received a phone call earlier because I was placed on, the school is so popular that once you get accepted, you're placed on a waiting list. And so a little bit about, let me just rewind back a little bit about me applying for this school. So I applied to the program, and the way that the application process went was pretty time consuming, pretty intense, pretty difficult. But I think that, it makes all the sense in the world because they want to make sure that they choose the right candidates. It's a very popular program. Many people want to get into their program. So it made sense. So a little bit about how the process worked for me in getting into the school. So I went to the school initially, I want to say like a year ago, and I applied, I put in my interest into applying to the program. So they gave me the requirements that I needed to complete. Some of my prerequisites at the time did not meet the requirements only because I had gotten like a C in the course, and they do not require C's in any of their prereqs. You have to have an A or B. So I had to go ahead and repeat some of those courses and get an A or B in the course. So I did that. So for like, I want to say 4 to 5 months, I went ahead and took a lot of those prerequisites that I got a C in, and I retook them and got A's or B's in them. And then once I was able to do that and show them that I had A's and B's in the course, then they scheduled me for an interview. And for the interview, I had to come with 3 letters of recommendation, my resume, of course my transcript showing that I had above a 3.0 GPA, which is bare minimum, and also that I had all my prerequisites with an A or B. So once I got all of that accomplished, they set me up for an interview, you guys. When I got set up for the interview, unfortunately, which is all my fault, I arrived to my interview late, like 15 minutes late. And the only reason why, again, no excuses, but it was, I guess I didn't really plan for the amount of traffic that I would encounter. And then also, once I got there, I had to find parking. That took me like 10 minutes. So when I finally got in there, I was like 15 minutes late. And unfortunately, they declined me and told me, no ma'am, you cannot get interviewed by the dean of the program. She does not tolerate anyone coming in late, and so you would have to reschedule. So you guys, I was like, oh my God, I really want this, and I messed up. So I was very sad. Also, you guys, I was like 5 months pregnant at the time. I just had a baby. He is almost 3 months old. So yeah, you guys, I'm going to nursing school with the infant baby and, you know, like 4 other kids, so 5 kids total. Yes, I'm doing that. But anyways, so, you know, so I was like, okay, all right. You know, I was trying to like hide my pregnancy because I didn't want them to judge me based on me being. So I said, okay, I'll reschedule. So it was hard for me to reschedule because I was working as a CNA at the hospital, and it was just hard. I had just gotten a job as a CNA, and I was trying to figure out. So finally I was able to get another interview. So when the other interview came around a couple of weeks later, I was ready, you guys. I got there like 30 minutes early. I was on time. I was able to sit down with the program director and have a great interview. I was very confident. I explained to her my reasoning for wanting to become a nurse, my passion, my dedication to it, and I thought that it went well. She informed me that, you know, because the program was such a popular program, it's an accelerated 16-month BSN program, which was perfect. The amount of time was perfect. It's a year and 4 months. I was going to come out with an accredited Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. Awesome. Their NCLEX pass rates were very high, close to 100. So I was like, perfect, perfect, perfect. So she said the committee is going to meet. If we decide that, you know, we want to accept you into the program, you would hear from us. However, if you were accepted, you would be on the waiting list for at least a year to a year and a half to almost 2 years. So I was like, wow, that's a long time. But, you know, so I had not really high hopes to hear anything back from them for a while. I did receive a letter in the mail a couple of months later saying that I was accepted. So I was ecstatic, excited that I was accepted into the program that I wanted to get into. However, I knew that I had to wait almost like 2 years to actually start the program. To my surprise, 3 months ago, actually right after I delivered my son in the hospital, I got a call from the program director and said, hey, you know, we were able to move you up. You know, you don't have to wait 2 years to get accepted into to start the program, and we wanted to know if you wanted to get started in the next 3 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, like absolutely, that's perfect. You know, I'm thinking to myself, my baby would be 3 months old, which he's still young. However, he'd be old enough, you know, to be taken care of, you know, either by, you know, a caregiver or someone while I went to school. So here I am now. I'm due to start school in just a couple of days. I'm super excited. That's a little bit of my journey on how, you know, I got accepted into nursing school. Surprisingly, I was called a year to a year and a half early to get started, and I'm so excited for the opportunity. And again, you guys, join me on this journey. I start school in a couple of days. I'm going to be kind of documenting and recording my journey into nursing school. And again, you guys, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video and want to see more, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. This is Vaughn. Thank you for watching, you guys. Until next time, you guys. Bye.